till I die, Spurs Diehards, Tottenham till I die, Tottenham till I die, Tottenham till I die, Spurs Diehards, Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die, Spurs Diehards, Tottenham till I die.
Good evening to everybody everywhere. Welcome to Spurs Diehards Tottenham Till I Die. It's been another slow week at the lane. So we are, I don't know, we're going to struggle to come up with anything to talk about, really. I have a front two this evening with a combined age of, I'm not even sure what the combined age is, but they look fresh as daisies. We'll start off with one of the co-hosts and owners of Spurs Diehards. It's Ian. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. What a fascinating couple of days. It's hard to actually know where to start, so I'll just let you host and take you where
Yeah.
I want to take you. But I've made my debut doing some radio presentation this afternoon. Went to the music quiz tonight, and we won by 8 points. Spurs are going wild, and we will no doubt talk about that. So it's been an amazing day, and I'm feeling really good.
Awesome. Adrian, my usual cohort. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm thinking that all my Christmases have come at once. You know, I mean, what's going on? I mean, who let the dosh out? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm fine. Back to you.
Yeah, I didn't quite know where to start, to be honest with you. We'll say hello to a few people in the chat and get our bearings and see what's going on. Mr. Super Spurs TV, Blaine, always here, always largely in charge. Appreciate you, my friend. Says big up everybody. We got Mr. Harmless Potato in here, Spud. Good evening. Good evening. And we have Audio in here as well. Audio, good to see you. The usual motley
Another
crew.
friend of the channel. Big up Audio.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we will we'll start at the beginning. Obviously, we were all very, very pleased, I'm sure, to finally get the here we go for Mohamed Kudus. What do you guys? We'll start off. We'll start right out the gate with this guy, Ian. What were your initial thoughts when this came to fruition?
Well, there's no doubt he's a good player, and there's no doubt he was underutilised at West Ham, principally because Mark Noble is in his position. I think that he comes with a bit of attitude, but that might work with Thomas Frank. Not sure Graham Potter's the sort of kick him up the backside kind of manager, which I think that Thomas Frank will be. I think he's going to be a good player. Look, if you're asking me what would my dream look like a week ago, I'd have said Mbeumo for the right and Eze for the left hand side. That would have been my absolute dream window. Don't know what's happened to Eze, but Mbeumo made it clear that he didn't want to come to Tottenham. He wants to go to Manchester United, and there's a discussion in there as well because you look at the press that Manchester United, they want to get rid of Højlund, they want to get rid of Garnacho, they want to get rid of Anthony, they want to get rid of Sancho. They can't get rid of those players, and I don't think without getting rid of those players and getting rid of those players at a sensible cost, they can come anywhere near being able to afford what Brentford want for Mbeumo, which begs the other part of the question: if Man United can't do it, and is Mbeumo looking and saying, Tottenham look like they're doing something here, maybe I've not made the right choice. And that would then be a dilemma. Can we afford both? But Kudus is a good player. He has pace. He has dribbling skills. I think in terms of his, he's 24. I think he's still got a lot of maturing and growing to do. He's probably 3 years from his peak. And I think with the kind of dynamic football, I'm thinking we're going to be playing with the players that we're looking at and the players that we're signing. I think it's going to be an excellent signing. An absolutely excellent signing. But I'll let Adrian come in because we're going to talk about a number of other things, obviously, with the Gibbs-White situation, the money, and where actually this ends. But I think it's an exciting signing, and I think he's a player that will only get better at a bigger club like Tottenham, and under the kind of guidance of a coach like Thomas Frank.
I was listening to a couple of other channels and somebody said it's the first exciting winger signing that they think we've had since Aaron Lennon. Would you concur with something like that? Or you think that's a little unfair?
No, we had Bale, didn't we?
That's kind of why.
He was a little bit good, Gareth Bale.
I did think he was being a little bit. But do you maybe see the comparisons, kind of the small in stature, very sprightly, sort of I guess maybe the comparison was just because I guess we've been begging for that over the last few years, right? And Johnson, as good as he's been the last couple, especially, when you think small diminutive, small winger gets to the byline, can cause problems. I guess Aaron Lennon is probably somebody that you would maybe liken him to, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I sent out. Go on,
Adrian. I'll come in. I'll come in after you.
I mean. Naturally, when we get linked with players, when a story gains gravitas, you know me, I'm going to pump it everywhere in our Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, ex-con groups, everywhere, like other groups that I'm just a member of and stuff like that. Because I like to disseminate news. And I like fans, rather than talk about a player when you know that there are those out there that haven't even watched them or seen them and they still comment on them. I'd rather send you the video, not try and browbeat anyone. Have a look at this guy. Now, he's very good, technically very good. He can play as the centre forward. He can play on the right. He can play as an 8 in midfield. He can play as a 10. He's very versatile. He's very tricky as well. Good dribbler. All right, he's lost 50% of his possessions, but at least he's brave enough to win 50 and get past,
But he does them in the final third of the field, Adrian.
Yes,
this
is what you want. It's what you want. And so... if I had a little reservation, I know West Ham their season was only a little less crappy than ours was last season. Is they were a mess, so we can excuse him for his lack of goal contributions. Really, I want to see more goals. I've always banged on every podcast I've ever been on. I said if we've got a front three, whether it's a front six because it's a squad game, you're going to rotate players. They have got to be players that score goals. If you want to win this league, and that should be our aim, this season was low. Last season was low. Liverpool, they scored 86. We scored 86 goals and didn't win the league, right? So that's my only reservation. On the other hand, if you can actually smash it and not necessarily score the amount of goals, but get the assists and somehow we manage to score a lot of goals, I'm not bothered. But usually for a wide player, back in the day, I don't know what is now in the modern game. Back in the day, a 1 in 4 strike ratio was considered to be good. So if that player was playing the whole 38 games, which he's not, because it's not the way the game is now, rotation, you would expect 9 or 10 goals out of your wingers. Right. So I think he's an upgrade. He's oven ready, and it's all good. Good signing.
Yeah, and Kevin Stanbridge comes in here, makes a good point. Yeah, Frank will work on his end product. He's done it with other players. If you look at Brian and Mbumo, when he first joined Brentford and look at sort of the players become, and there's obviously, there's got to be a natural willingness to want to become the best you can. But from everything I'm hearing of Mohamed Kudus, he's all about sort of getting his head down and working hard and trying to be the best he can be. So that's only good for Spurs. And we've got him on a nice long contract. And by the looks of it, we've paid it over, I think, 3 installments. So we're giving it the Klarna special. So that ends up being pretty affordable. I think you're looking at about 17, 18 million a season for 3 seasons, plus, any add-ons that might come. And I think they're not unreasonable, obviously, but I'm always of the mind that if you're having to pay the add-ons, then it's not a big deal because the players obviously worked out, So fingers crossed. Well,
What's
then
your take?
we'll.
What's your take on him?
I had to openly admit yesterday that I had to do some investigating just because I'm not really West Ham's not really my bag. I won't really, there's some I don't mind sitting and watching football, but I can honestly say the last couple of seasons that, West Ham is not the sort of game that I have sought out. So the only ones that I've really watched would be ones against us or ones where they've taken a hammering and I just want to see what the goals were that were put past them. But so yeah, I did some looking. I'd seen him a couple of times at Ajax. The one reservation, and I'm kind of with Ian on this, like my ideal scenario would have been Mbumo just because I think he's got a little bit more about him, just in terms of the fight and the tenacity needed. And I think if my only question mark over Kudus would be, and I know he was used as almost an auxiliary everything last year, but I do kind of get the sense maybe that his head dropped a little bit. And I know, his output wasn't great. And I know he was going up against Jared Bowen, but Jared Bowen still managed to put out some pretty good numbers and Kudus didn't. So I don't know. I don't want to be unfair on the guy. Like he's got a absolute clean slate as far as I'm concerned. There's no way I'm going to complain about it. Like I'm not, because that would just be, it would be typical Spurs fan for me to complain that we don't get a signing, then when we do get a signing, complain about the signing. So that's one thing that I'm going to make sure I don't do. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. I think the one nice thing and the one thing that I'm not able to put my finger on is exactly how it's going to work in this system, because I don't quite know what this system's going to be. But I'm looking forward to finding that out. It's not something I'm worried about. Frank's obviously a very, very good coach. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. Just quickly, Adrian, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Blaine Devlin, arguably the most generous person in the YouTube Tottenham Hotspur space. And if we can say thank you, the memberships have gone out to Dan the Carterman, El Dante, the Alaskan Hotspur, Hotspur Emerson, and Hanno. So if you are currently tuned in, guys, I'd really appreciate if you could just give a shout to Blaine, because once again, he has gifted the community. So thank you very much for being the plaster that holds us together, Blaine. We much appreciated. And he says, go on, Adrian.
No, is there a doubt, temperament issue? He did get sent off against us, Kudus, didn't he? Or was that just a one-off because it was a derby game? Do you think fired up?
I think it was maybe a one-off just because it was fired up. It was both teams were going through it at that point anyway. I'm wondering whether it was a bit of a nothing. My thing is that I think with Mbumo, because he's been in a struggling Brentford team, but there have been a couple of seasons where they've really had to graft and really had to work for it. And he's shown the desire to do that. So I guess just from that point of view, if you were going to have somebody coming in that you really, really needed to hit the ground running, I just think there's maybe more. And again, I don't want to do the guy a disservice, but I think maybe there's a little bit, if things don't really, really go the right way for Kudus, I wonder if he's got more of a chance of putting his head down than Mbumo. But I'm saying that just from a personal opinion. It comes from nothing. So we shall see. As I say, I'm really looking forward to it. And I think...
I think he won't be put in a position where he loses his reg because he's going to have better players around him.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, but exactly. I think West Ham were even a bit more of a basket case than us over the last 18 months. So that can only go.
I pick up on that question?
Yeah,
because I think it's a really interesting question. And I suspect we'll know more when we see the end result with the players we're signing. But I mean, the simple answer is I don't think any of us know. I suspect we'll be possession at home and probably counter-attacking away. That would be my gut with the way that Frank likes to play, but also with the kind of squad that we've got. But we can chop and change it. I think the one thing I'm looking at the players that, with Odebear, excuse me, now with, Gibbs White will come on to him, but with Kudos and Tell, pace and power in abundance. Absolute pace is going to frighten defenders, whether they're sitting deep or whether we're trying to attack them. Sorry, that's me kicking my table. We will. I think we will worry a lot of teams, and I think it might be a combination of both. I think one of the great things about Thomas Frank, and is one thing that does distinguish him from Ange, is that Thomas Frank is very pragmatic in his coaching approach, and he will change tactics depending upon the game, depending upon the opponent, whether it's home or away, whether you're winning, losing, or drawing, and what have you. And I think we will see a lot of that under Thomas Frank, a lot of it.
Yeah.
You, Adrian?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, what I've seen of Frank, the little I've got and watched, I just wanted to see how he was with his defenders, midfielders, and attackers. Not the fact that someone said that he's used 9 different systems and things like that. I looked like, for what was solid about him, what I took from it was that he plays a narrow midfield pivot. So all this talk about numbers, which I hate numbers 6, 8, and 10. I'm old school, right? You're either a midfielder, you're either a base of a midfielder, or you're not, or you're attacking midfielder. I get that, or creative midfielder. I get that, but I don't like all these modern poncy descriptive narratives. I'm not a fan of them. And they play narrow. When they're away, like Ian said, it's not so much as sitting back. If you've got space to get forward and you've got the ball, we will get forward, and we'll get forward fast. He does break fast. So usually his number 10, Maddison, I hope you're listening, is a hard-working number 10. If you look at Damsgaard playing for Brentford, right, he works his socks off. They're a team that has to, because they know their limitations in the Premier League. They're up against a lot of good sides, and they've beaten a lot of good sides as well. So you've got that. Overload seems to come on the left or right. Normally you get a 2v1 overload or whatever, but they tend to break, like getting a triangle, like a 3 versus 1 overload on the left or right. And then if it's on our right hand side, obviously like you doggy would stay back and make the third central defender. It's not that he's playing a back 3, he's not. It's just like what is, and vice versa on the right hand side. What I'm saying, front 3, different. This is something else that I've seen. Now I haven't gone and watched dozens of videos, even though I watch hundreds of videos during the transfer season and pump them out and annoy you lot with them. It's just like it's front 3. Even if you got wingers or those are front 3, they tend to be a bit narrow. That would suit Decky, even if he ended up on the right wing, to play on the right wing in some games, because he would be narrower. So would the others, So to me, I'm seeing lots of pluses in the way he plays, right? Not saying like we're going to go out and win the league, this, that, and the other. Although the quintuple is on, it's on, right? I'm telling you that. And I think Spurs fans are gaining confidence the way this transfer window is going anyway.
Well, I tell you, we've got more chance of winning the this cup coming up now that PSG are in the final, right? Because they're gonna have to rest a lot of their players, or they're I don't know.
Through the rules as well. Through the rules, the players are entitled to a 3-week break or something. So we'll see. Let's hope they don't take it seriously.
Big up Jimbo in the chat. Jimbo for the perfect match. Good to see you, mate. Appreciate you popping in.
Also on that,
Jimbo,
on
the quintuple
Jim,
is
big
on.
up Jim. Big up Jim. They do a good morning show. They do, Kate and Jim.
Yeah.
And I actually heard. I heard Kate on. I heard Kate on TalkSport actually, and she was.
Yeah, I did as well actually.
Yeah, and she was giving Crooks some stick, which I absolutely love because I can't stand that guy. So tell Kate, thank you very much.
I'm not a fan of talk shite radio, as I call it, right? But I mean, like, or Sly Sports, right? But yeah, back to Frank. Yeah, I like a lot of what I've seen. We'll definitely be a lot more solid.
Yeah.
I think we'll bring in a DM, which we're probably going to, but I don't think we necessarily. We just want beasts in midfield that are midfielders that do a job. You know, when you played football, if you had to drop back at times, you did. You don't have to be designated. You know, there aren't any other superhero rugby's out there.
Right. You think there's going to be time where we're going to see, because I know he's a fan of playing a centre back in one of the fullback positions and then kind of shifting everybody over, like Mourinho used to do with when he put Ben Davis left back, and then you'd have the two centre backs and you'd have Aurier at right back, but then you'd have them all kind of shift over, and Aurier would almost be like an auxiliary wing back / winger. Do you think? I think Frank likes to do that. There are instances or times where he's done that and played the left back kind of further forward as a left wing back and have everyone shift over in a 3. I feel like he's gonna do that because of the abilities of Porro and Udogie, because he's already turned around and said that Porro's got Trent-like tendencies.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be scenarios as well where he may well just go full on back 5 / 3-5-2 and have like 3 full-on centre backs with 2 wing backs? No,
I don't. I think he'll do the Mourinho thing where one of the fullbacks drops back to make a back 3 when you're pressing forward. I don't think. What I like a narrow 3 at the front, because the amount of times, even when like Ange said keep them wide, and I love Ange, he's a legend, he's won us a trophy, so I'm not going to have anything bad said against him, right? He's a legend now, right? But the amount of times we used to get forward on the wings, right? And everyone, the whole of the 130 of you viewing us now, which is fantastic, right? The amount of times that a winger's got the ball to cross it, and we've got one person in the box. Where's the other winger coming in? Where's the other winger coming in? And where's the number 10? You know, I mean, so he will play. Our wingers will be out wide, but they will come in as a 3. I think they will come in as a tighter 3. Centre forward as the pivot or the fulcrum to play a 1-2 off of in the penalty area, with the two wide players sort of in the close place on the edges of the penalty area on the angles there. So, and I think that will create more goals. But you know, we'll see. We'll see.
For anyone that can't see, Bladen sent in a comment, says, folks, over 50 of you here, which is great, but only 14 likes. Let's try and get those numbers up. If you do, I've heard Ian will provide free tequila from his villa.
It's another tequila sunrise.
There you go. If any of you are good at geo-tracking, if any of you can locate Ian right now, the tequila is free. So
and also, the 135 of you in here now, viewing us now on all platforms, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click that little box in the bottom right-hand corner with the YouTube logo on it, and it will take you straight to. You can even become a member if you choose to, but if you subscribe, that'll do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good plug. I've literally just seen that little icon in the corner there. That's great. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go. Let's move on to obviously the elephant in the room. Mr. Morgan Gibbs-White, hot off of the Here We Go from Kudus, we had some news breaking that there was interest from Morgan Gibbs-White, even though the morning prior, or that morning, there had been some sniffs that Manchester City were involved in White. And then before you could put your phone down, we had a Here We Go. And I think the Spurs community had a little bit of a meltdown. Some of us thought somebody was pulling our legs. Other people had to turn around and confirm that no, this actually was the case. But then a few of us, I guess, over last night and over the course of this morning, find out the deal potentially off because Nottingham Forest have got their knickers in a twist. Ian, we'll start with you because you are at least certainly far cleverer in this field than myself and Adrian.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
In the land of the one-eyed man, I'm king, I guess. The Nottingham Forest thing. I mean, look, let's go back. And I actually forgot the Nottingham Forest owner is a complete man.
Marinakis.
So let's get that in there from the start. I mean, he is a complete, as we say in Scotland, a complete Dundee.
He's a shit kebab.
You know, it's so the first thing. Let's talk about the contract, because from what I've read, and I have been really busy all day, so I haven't been able to read as much as I would have liked. But from what I understand, their complaint is that Spurs have activated the release clause that was meant to be confidential or whatever. There's some sort of breach of contract, and they're therefore applying to the FA to do what, I don't know. We'll come on to that, on the basis of an illegal approach. Now, there's two aspects there. There's obviously the position, the contractual position, and then there's the FA rules. Now, there was a time, and Adrian and I are certainly old enough to remember it, where you were not permitted to what's called tap up a player. It was considered it was considered just something you didn't do, but more importantly, it was a basic breach of the Football League, as it was, rules. You spoke to the club gave you permission to speak, and then you would talk terms and what have you once you'd agreed a fee. Those days are long gone, are absolutely long gone. They're irrelevant. In fact, the clubs don't even think about talking unless the player has said, yes, I'll talk to you. Yes, I'm interested in the project. Yes, the kind of money you're talking about is fine. Then you have to agree a fee. Now, the whole point of a clause, buyout clause, is that is the fee. Kudus had one apparently of £85 million, and I think there's a view. West Ham need the money, and Tottenham are not going to pay £85 million for a player who's worth between 50 and 60, which is what we've ended up paying for him. Morgan Gibbs White had a buyout clause of £60 million. Spurs have said we're paying it. That's the end. As far as I understand it, that's the end of the matter. The player, once the Spurs have said,
Ian,
we will activate that clause.
Question for you on this it's like, now we all knew that West Ham had an 85 million release clause on Kudus.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So why are we not entitled to know that there's a 60 million release clause on
this is where I started off, that their owner is a complete madman. I mean, he's as mad as a box of frogs. Let's be honest. And coming up with all kind of, how did they know? There can't be anything confidential in a contract of employment concerning your release clause. It just can't be a confidentiality clause. If I work for Tottenham Hotspur, it's clearly a term of my employment that I can't reveal business secrets. So, for example, if I was to go out and say the club's actually getting £500 million from the Saudi government, that would be a major breach of contract, because clearly, this is highly sensitive business information. But a release clause isn't. So Spurs have activated that. It is just going to take a couple of days. My gut feeling is there's no mileage for this in some sort of legal battle. They're going to end up with a player doesn't want to play for them. They won't have any money to go and buy a replacement. The courts are not going to. I mean, I would be astonished if the courts are going to get involved in any shape or form. If you want my prediction, it'll be a Tottenham player by Wednesday.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play. Just a quick shout, Adrian, just before you come in. Just a quick shout, big shout to Paul G, Beast of TH, and also Kate, who is also in here as well, who is obviously Jim's better half. Thank you very much, Kate. Appreciate you coming in. B Knight is also in. Lucky is also in as well. Nita has also joined us. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you very much to you guys for coming in.
Yeah.
It's always great to see you. And do leave questions in the chat. I will try and star them and get around to them if you'd like to. Obviously, join in the conversation. We really appreciate it. Adrian, I guess let's go off of the back of what Ian's just said, let's say that, Morgan Gibbs White, for all intents and purposes, more than likely, even though I guess there was the situation with Elise at Palace. So I will just mention it because there was a similar thing happened apparently with Chelsea. He did ultimately end up going to Bayern Munich. So I do just want to put that out there because I don't want to, start talking as if this is fact. There is obviously a chance. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like he's, for all, our player. So on that, Adrian, where do you see him fitting in? How do you see him working? Are you pleased with the signing? Is he straight up 10? Is he an 8/10? Can he come off of a wing? What are your thoughts?
Well, I just want to add to what Ian said. I mean, I'm not going to get in the ring of employment law with Ian because that's his profession.
Yeah.
But to me, just to add to it, for fans that might be concerned out there, are we going to get him? We're not going to get him. We're getting him, right? There's no two ways about it. We are getting him. But you have to understand when they talk about tapping up now, which is common, right? Clubs use third parties anyway now. So it wouldn't be Johan Langer. And if you're trying to complete 2 or 3 transfer deals, you'll use you'll subcontract people out to go and get things moving in motion. And then you might come in with your DOF or leave you and then finalise the deal afterwards. So he wouldn't have been tapped up by the club. To prove the club have tapped him up, and we may well have done that, you know what I mean? But we may well have. I mean, who knows? But to prove that, I just think it's a hard proof, right?
Yeah.
Back to the player himself.
Big up Daniel 90. Sorry.
I posted videos out there of him, last year. I always prefer my videos from Brazil Scout when he isn't right. Morgan Gibbs White can play as an 8, as a 10, right? And he is a frank player because he'll bring so much energy to this team, so much energy, and he's got the skill to go with it. He's got a forward pass when they beat us. I think it's one of his forward passes that split our defence and they scored. He's an excellent player. I mean, I like
from Graham. Their agent, in terms
is
of
it me? Are we turning one of the most pacey teams? I'm quite excited to see how all this pans out. Yeah, Graham, I agree. I mean,
me too.
It's not just pace; it's pace and physicality as well.
Yeah.
Even if you look at it, I mean, we might have a light player in Son or maybe Odegaard. Tells no slouch when it comes to getting stuck in, But we're just slightly wandering off the track here. Pacey and physical, So, I mean, Gibbs White is an excellent signing. That's 2 of them ready, and they're proven Premier League players. And I had a mate ring me and what about it? We won't get him. What about pre-season? All I said, why are you worrying about pre-season? He's proven Premier League. We don't have to worry about him in pre-season. He's proven.
Adrian, I think this is a really good point that Kate makes, that Forest, having sold Elanga, probably had no intention whatsoever of selling Gibbs White, and it probably took them clean out of.
I agree. I agree, Jim. I totally agree. Yeah. I totally agree.
I think Kate makes a really good point.
I think
really
Marinakis, he will lose his knackers if he goes to litigate with Levy. He's only one winner in that battle, right? So, I mean, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, he's going to be a good signing. Once the damage is done, he's not playing for Nottingham Forest ever again. Not after this. And he wants Champions League. It's done. I mean,
let me ask you guys this: do you see him? Is he captain potential?
God, I'm not giving that much thought.
Do we think if there's 50-50 chance, right? There's a chance possibility Sonny goes, captaincy's up for grabs. Does he walk in the door and get it, or does it go to somebody in the squad that's existing?
I think if Romero signs a contract, he gets it.
Even though they can't speak English.
Cup final, got them players in the huddle before they went off, wouldn't let them go off at half time and all that. He showed, I mean, he's a winner. He showed it. I think he stays now, right? Unless, because Atletico Madrid haven't got the money. We're going off on a tangent here, but why not? It's Friday. And unless Real Madrid come in or someone comes in with a fantastic offer, And because he wanted to go Atletico Madrid, why does he suddenly want to go? Because his mate Simeone, why would he want to go to Real Madrid? You know, so
I was just curious because, as I say,
no,
the
I
whole
think
sort
I'm
of
not
captain
really a
thing's a
fan of
little bit up in the
captaincy
air at the
anyway.
moment, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Back
it's
in
not
the
like
day,
signing if you sign Bobby Moore from West Ham, as you know,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
another thing with contracts. If we had more time, we could talk about that. How West Ham were, could simply tell him he's not going to Tottenham, even if though his contract expired, and make him sign a new one. If he's captain, I haven't really given this a lot of thought, but I'm 100% with Adrian. If Romero can be persuaded with everything that's going on at the club that there's a big future for Tottenham Hotspur and him under Tottenham Hotspur, I don't see how Atleti's a bigger attraction. And to say, we'll offer you whatever money, we'll give you a 3-year extension on top of your 2 existing, and we're going to make you the club captain. And that would be the way I do it. But if people maybe know more about Morgan than I do, but part of the leadership group, yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a fair number of players leaving that we haven't anticipated yet. So that may change things as well.
Yeah, well, that's why I was asking, because I think there's, as much as he might want to stay and have another crack at Champions League, and he said it, I mean, stranger things have happened. I know he's obligated to this match over in Asia, but they may have just sort of said that to appease a crowd in Asia, because are you going to go and see somebody playing for a team that is going to be leaving? I don't know. They maybe not want that situation. So it was just something that I'd sort of thought about on the fly, really.
Yeah. We need to answer beforehand, don't we? I mean, what difference does it really make, right? If Son wants to go, he wants to stay, right? He said it now, right? So you got to respect him because he's given us 10 years of the club. He's 4-5 goal scorer. He's going to break into 3 if he stays easy. He only needs 1, I think. So like,
but this might be a perfect opportunity anyway, right? Even if he stays, is that sort of where you're going? Like, Frank's come in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what he was going to do, not certain, but I always thought, well, you've got all the money. You're sponsored by every company in South Korea and other companies out there. You are really, the face of Spurs in Asia and all of Asia, basically. And like, I'm thinking, well, you haven't really chased money in the past. You'll stay. You're still the best finisher in the club, both feet. And you can be used. And look, we need experience in this team. I know we're bringing in 2 other.
Oh no, players, absolutely. But I could also see a scenario, Jim, where Sonny says to Frank, I could completely understand if he may want to stay. I've got no problem with him staying. If he does stay, he may turn around and say, look, if you've got your own ideas, he might be happy to relinquish the captaincy to somebody. So, I don't think he'd be the sort of player that would kick up a fuss if Frank turned around to him and said, hey, look, I just want to, I'm happy you're here. I'd love you to stick around, but I've just got my own ideas on how the leadership should work. And I think Sonny would be like, all right, no worries. But yeah, it was just something I had in my head. Paul G says, hang on, Adrian. Paul G says, does the 60 million fee need to be paid in a lump sum when it applies to a release clause? And I think the answer to that is yes.
It does.
Which
unless like you hit the
unless
release
they come
clause,
unless they come to an agreement, right?
I mean, you look, really? Crystal Palace don't want to sell Eze. Really? They don't want to sell him? Well, how comes you're now really willing to do 320 mil installments to pay for him with the add-ons? That's not a club that doesn't want to sell a player. That's a club that wants to sell a player and make the money on him while they can, right? Yeah. So, yeah. And which is another thing we'll get into. So that means Spurs have gone and gone, bang, we've got the 60 mil, which is another conversation I'm sure you'll go into.
I know, probably. B says Porro would make a good captain, and that's actually a pretty good shout. Yeah. Jimmy Hotspur has a question with what happens to Maddison, guys, when this is sorted. I think he gets a kick up the arse from MGW and has to fight it out for the 10 spot, right? That's what we want, isn't it?
Him and Johnson are going to have to put shifts in games because Frank won't tolerate any shirkers in the team. They've all got a graft. So Maddison, quality player. Johnson, proven he can finish. They're going to have to up their work rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Jimbo says the Forest owner loves drama. He wanted to sue VAR Wanted to sue Gary Neville, who's a drama queen when he does not get his own way. Yeah, and he stomped on the pitch, didn't he? Wasn't it the game against Leicester where they gave away
Is it Neville
a
banned from the
lead?
first round? Isn't he
Yeah,
banned from the first round?
probably.
I
Brilliant,
think there's going
brilliant.
to be a couple of departures that are going to surprise people.
When you say surprise, you mean not the typical 4 or 5 everyone's been mentioning?
I think I will be interested to see whether he thinks
Big up, David.
Kulusevski and or Maddison fit in with the way he wants to play. I think Maddison does more than Kulusevski. But
Well,
all I'm saying is I don't know. I just think that somewhere out of left field there'll be a player signed, a player sold rather. You think, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, when you say getting rid, Drew, go through this. Well,
What's that, mate?
Go through this, because at the moment, guys, we only got 8 homegrown players. If we get Gibbs White in, now we might get Walton in, we might get someone else in, Carl Walker Peters or whatever. But when you look at it, although fans out there, they're always marmite on players. So like we know that fans would like to see Ben Davies go, or James Maddison go, or Brennan Johnson go, but we can't get rid of those 3 this season because we haven't got the 8 homegrown.
Yeah,
We can't get rid of Ben Davies, James Maddison. Whether you're a fan of them or not, we can't do it.
Well, we still didn't. Did we clarify exactly what happens if you don't have 8? Because I know that it says in the paperwork that I had that you had to have 8 or up to 8. So you just forfeit that spot, or do you get a fine, or is there?
I think
It's got to be something, otherwise they wouldn't have specified, would they?
Well, then I think you would have to promote from the B list.
Right.
From the B list, you wouldn't be able to put them back in the B list afterwards. They become permanently A list.
That's right. I think, yeah, because the wording, now that you've said that, that's actually kind of made some things click in my head. So, yeah, basically you have to fill those spots from people that are under 20, yeah, like say B list under 21. And that's something that you don't necessarily have to do. So you're kind of forfeiting that spot. Because had you had your squad management correct in the first place, then you would have a player in there that you would want utilizing that spot. So the fact that you don't, and you've got to put a kid in there, just means that you really don't have enough players. So I think that kind of lends itself to that. I mean, I know Manchester City didn't go in with a full squad last year, I don't think, if memory serves. So it's not the end of the world in terms of Champions League. But yeah, like you say, for the Premier League, if you are going to get rid of any of those players, then you're going to start needing, and especially with the non-homegrown, it's going to have to start being 1 in, 1 out at some point. I'm really surprised, Ian, you say that he might think... I mean, I can't see him moving Kulu on, at least in this window, just because we don't know how well he's come back from his current injury. So you would think if he is going to go, it'll be a loan in January, maybe.
Look, that's true. I mean, look, Kulu's become a little bit Marmite. He's a little bit Marmite in the same games with me. Sometimes I love him. Sometimes I just don't. I know Eugene, who's been on this show, is probably with me on Kulusevski. I just don't know where he actually fits. And if you're playing as your forward midfield player, your central forward midfield player. I hate the fixation with numbers, by the way. I think we get too hung up with numbers rather than where people are going to play and how they're going to play. I think if you've got Morgan Gibbs White there and you've got James Maddison, and then on the right hand side you've got Johnson, potentially Tel Odebear, and Kudus. Where does Kulusevski, seriously, where does he fit into that? Also, we are going to have to, I know we're spending a lot of money, but at some point we will need to bring some money in as well, particularly if we want to increase the squad further. And none of us really know how much there is. There's talk about being 400 odd million, but let's see. As I say, I can't make up my mind about Kulusevski, and that's after 2.5 years, and I'm not alone in that.
I love him. I love him.
Well, we're not. Yeah.
I know that Frank enjoys. He loves a ball carrier. He likes somebody that can get a ball turn and move, and that's one thing. I mean, I know it seems cumbersome at times, and I have my reservations about him, but he does seem to have this uncanny ability to hold players off and kind of, get his own way with a lot of players. So,
I might be wrong. I'm just saying. I think with the number of players that are coming in, and we did struggle in those forward areas, and we've already brought in Gibbs White, and we've already brought in Kudus, and that doesn't appear to be the end of it by a long stretch. I'm not sure that there's a. Not sure there's. Well,
I haven't got a problem with players that have got different opinions to me on players and all that, because at the end of the day, I don't pick the team, right? So this is why I don't understand why people get so hot under the collar about it. I mean, I thought because he tailed off after playing 40 games, running through treacle, suddenly he started getting a load of stick. But let's be fair, there was a shotgun blast at every area of the club because we finished 17th, and winning the Europa League was fantastic, and I was pleased for Ange. But and now we've seen from the ashes what's happened. We've had nine changes in the coaching department. We're spending money. I mean, like you wouldn't have believed it. You wouldn't have believed it. I don't think anyone would have thought we were going to even have this start to the window with getting 2 oven-ready, proven Premier League players in. So it's looking good. And if you're like me, I think there's more to come. I think there's at least another 3 players to come in now, because you just start to smell it. You get greedy. You want more. You do. You're like an alcoholic.
Just touch on the goalkeeper situation a little bit, because this non-homegrown here, obviously, I've noticed you've got 3 keepers here: Vicario, Kinski, Keeley. Plus, you've got Brandon Austin as the only homegrown, and by the way, the only homegrown club trained currently, as far as the Champions League goes. What do you do with this? Do you send Keeley? Do you get Keeley to sign a new contract and send him out again?
He's
and keep
Kinski
as the number 2? Do you send Kinski out, put Keeley in as the 2? Because arguably, no.
Keeley's getting a new contract. He's going out. So it'll be Vicario, Kinski, and Austin. It will be what it is. He's young enough, right? This is the thing. When you start bringing in oven-ready quality players, all right, you are narrowing the pathway for academy players. But, that's the way it is. When you get your chance as an academy player, you better take it. It. So this pre-season, I only see 2 possibly be added to the squad. I'd say Donnelly. I mean, Mikey Moore's staying in there, right? There's no question about it. He's not going out on loan at 8. He's 18 in August. He gets his new contract and he wants to sign it. Then you got Donnelly. Donnelly could go out on loan again. It could be that Mikey Moore's the only one that's added to the squad, right? Yeah. I can see that. I would like Donnelly added to it. But if we're now bringing in Gibbs White, who can play in the 10 as well, and you've got Madison and Kulu that can do it, maybe Donnelly, he's young enough to go out another season. He was only in League 2 with Orient, wasn't he? He wasn't in the Championship.
Right.
So maybe he should go in the Championship, right? And look, all these players, I watched all the under-21 games the year before last. Look, when the team's winning, they all look good. All the players look good. They all look great and exciting, and they are, and they're talents. And I'm confident they'll all have footballing careers, but they're not going to all have, let's be realistic, they're not going to all have a footballing career at Spurs. I mean, when you look at Man City for all their talent, Sancho went, didn't he? How long did it take the 10 to come in that I really like? Phil Foden to come into that team and break through.
It was a good couple of 3 seasons, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, and this last season he didn't do well. The season before I thought it was fantastic, But and you've got that. You've really got to hit the ground running. You've got to really be a generational talent to break your way into a team. And these players, Lancashire, they'll have careers. I mean, I'd like to see Lancashire given a go. Scarlett's a good finisher. He's only 20. I watched him at 17 and thought, this kid's got something about him. But He'll have a career. It might not be at Spurs, but he'll have a good career. They're all going to earn more money than we are.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure.
So, like, don't feel sorry
Absolutely.
for it. Oh, tears, you know.
Audio says Scarlett is homegrown, club trained too for this coming season. Well, for the Premier League, he's actually. Let me look at my list
20.
here.
He's 20
Yeah, he's
now.
actually in the under 21, so
Yes.
he doesn't need to be registered in the Premier. I can't believe he's still in the under 21s, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable. But yeah, I believe if he was going to be in the European squad, I think he can be in the associate. So I think he can be the association trained players. I don't think he can be club trained because I don't think he's had 3 consecutive seasons yet.
Right.
And this is the reason why I think some people are turning around and saying the likes of, oh, send out Archie Gray, send out Matisse Tell. I don't think you can do that because I don't think you can risk prolonging them becoming club trained homegrown.
You need another season under their belt,
and it'll just be one of those things where we'll start to get our ducks in order and we'll get this right. 2 years from now, everything will be perfect and FIFA will change the rules.
And just to clarify things on the B list, right? You've got to be 2 years with the academy under 21 to do that, right? But with the B list, even if we are short, say we don't bring another academy trained player in like Dennis Serkin or Carl Walker-Peters in, right? Because last year we could our quota was 23 players. We were penalised 2 foreign players because of the academy trained issue. We didn't have 4 players that were academy trained for 3 years, right? That is only an issue for Frank if he's got too many foreign players. It doesn't affect us in the Champions League. And the reason it doesn't, because you've got your B-list players. And you can have as many on the B-list as you want, as long as they qualify. And with the B-list, you only even have to announce that list 24 hours before a game. I just thought I'd throw that in for you guys. And we've got 180 of you watching us on various platforms.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, yeah, on a Friday night, yeah.
Thanks, Daniel.
Awesome.
Yeah, please hit the like and subscribe button. You've no idea how much it helps the algorithm for the channel. So please, if you're here, hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely. Jimmy Hotspur came in with a question. Says, "Do you think Levy is stepping away from the football side of things? You think that writing's on the wall?"
I think he's been pushed away already. I think he's been pushed to the side. I think when would we have gone and activated the release clause? That wouldn't have happened. Charrington's come on, Peter Charrington, who was well in with Lewis in the Bahamas, right, with the daughter Vivian, that put the Spurs Enix shares in a trust. And I think there's been a paradigm shift at this football club. I really do. For the better, I might say. Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. Look, when when Vinay Venkatashan came on with his football background, that was a major development. That took place alongside Peter Charrington's. Sorry, have you been misreading the papers? We're talking about West Ham United, Lucky. This isn't Tottenham making these signings. I think you must be on something. Yeah, I mean, good point. I think that Charrington's appointment, though, and we still don't know exactly what he's doing, but the word was either he was looking to help make sure that there was a buyer, either for part or all of Enix shares, or he was going to supervise fresh investment from Enix. I mean, Joe Lewis is into his late 80s now, and he's about 88 or something. He's got family that are involved in the club, but seem to have a more caring attitude towards the success of the football club. The bottom line is they've all made so much money. If I had his money, I would know that my kids, my grandkids, my great-great-grandkids and my great-great-great-grandkids can be set up for life with the money that I've made in terms of trusts and what have you. So it can't just be about money now. I think all will be revealed. It might be tomorrow, it might be next month, it might be the month after. But I think things will become clearer. Whether there is just an investor, I mean, they talk about a stadium naming deal, but I don't think someone's putting 300 million into the club unless there's something else involved in that, such as part ownership of the club or ownership of the club, part ownership of the club with a view to a full takeover in 3 or 5 years. But look, something is happening. And something is happening that is good in that not only are we going out and spending money, and there's people chatting about Wharton in the chat, and there's been plenty of stories that we are very interested in Wharton, but at 70 million we think he's overpriced. So that will take out. I mean, if you add Danso and you add Tell, you know, we're already pushing our spending up to about 175 million. And then if you're going to take Wharton, you're talking about taking the spending somewhere between 240 and 250 million. That's before anyone's gone out the board. And Spurs still want to bring in players. I mean, I'm keeping my eye on my Twitter X feed all the time. And there's talk that we've been of Bissouma and Luis being, excuse me, a swap deal. There's talk that Bayern Munich are interested in selling us Paulinho. That, you know, these are, let's make no mistake about it. The players that we are getting and being linked with are all bloody good players. These are, as I mean, and Adrian and I, when we started this channel, these are the oven-ready players, proven Premier League, Bundesliga, Italian league, international footballers that are only going to get better. So there is something going on, but precisely what at the moment, I wouldn't want to be sure. Whether, I mean, Levy, people like, "Oh, Levy's an accountant. Levy's this." Levy is a property economist, a land economist. He has a first-class honours degree in Cambridge. Hi, Johnny. Excuse me. Hi, Johnny.
In a hype. Good to see you as well, mate.
He has. Well, there's talk about a straight swap with him and Louise with Juve in that. Although Galatasaray have apparently come in for Bissouma. We should get a decent fee for Bissouma, somewhere between 30 million euros, 25 million pounds, somewhere in the region of that. But Levy's strength is as property economist. When he built that stadium, and he does things like building the American football stadium with the dressing rooms, and
that's interesting.
You know, and building the goal line bar. And everybody complained he micromanaged the project. But one of the things is that Levy would know the value and the cost of every square metre of that stadium and what it could do and what revenues it could generate against what it would cost him. That's his enormous strength. He's not an accountant, obviously not a football person either. But he is. You can say what you want about him, but he is a brilliant businessman. And if he's now got to the point where, you know, the powers that be, and that's Louis Enoch and him, agree that his strength now is to move on to the property side with the development of the hotels. We saw this release of this 4-tower block behind the North Stand. It was behind the North Stand. Anyway. You know, this is all going to take a massive amount of time, energy, and that way may well be where Levy ends up. He may end up off the football board, but on the board of the property company and remaining on the board of Enoch. That may be how he does. But whatever, look, we can all criticise Levy, and some of the things he's done have been bad. But history, I think, will judge him well. The club he took over, the state of the club's finances, the failure of Alan Sugar to recognise the importance of the Premier League, and how much money was going to be made from the satellite dishes that he was selling, and how much money would need to come into football for Sky to have a viable business model. To them, with the money coming in from Saudi, from the Middle East, from corrupt Russian money from Putin, with a 36,000 seat stadium. And I think, history will judge that he, whilst he could have been a bit less conservative and what have you, the bottom line, he said, if I put this stadium in place, it will be the game changer. It will create the infrastructure for us to move on. And when you take that, as well as the training ground, what's happening at White Webs with the ladies' side and what have you, someone else can come and maybe take this on to another level. And yeah, we can lament some of the things that Levy did, that didn't invest at times when he could have invested, not least when Pochettino got so close to winning the Champions League in 2019. But ultimately, I think history will judge Levy better than some judge him now.
I agree with that. My caveat to it is that he'd gone and spent the money, built the stadium, which we're grateful to have because it is the foundation for our future, no doubt about it, what it's earning. But putting all his eggs in his basket, rather than like balancing it out, I don't know if he would have been able to anyway, meant that us fans were paying a tax in rising prices to fund it. And I think that's what the angst is among like those that were Levy out, and the protest was about really, and I get it. So, but as you said, Ian, I agree. This will all be forgotten if there's a complete change in attitude, which seems to be happening at this football club. And also, with regard to a new owner, I mean, why do you buy a football club? Do you buy a football club to make money? Really? The money you're investing in a football club, you could better invest elsewhere.
Absolutely.
I think the only reason that people, I mean, it's either a trophy because you're like mega rich for you, right? But I think it's really to enhance your global brand. I mean, like, if you're coming to buy Spurs, it's a crowning jewel in London, not the best area of Tottenham, let's be fair, right? It's a poor borough, but buy it to enhance your global brand, which means once you've got that jewel, which now has been, the brand has like expanded through America, through the NFL, through Asia, through Son, things like that. Once you've got that brand and you take over this club, whether in a naming rights deal or you buy a naming rights deal or you actually buy the club in stages, then your business partners, if you're that rich, right, are going to want a piece of the action as well. They're going to want to sponsor the club. They're going to be part of it as well. And therefore you generate even more revenue. And Spurs have got an estimated fan base of 34 million, right? This is a gold mine to tap into. They won't all be rich. Some of them will be very poor there. But that's still a gold mine to tap into. So, and if you buy a club, right, and you're a manager, I mean, Alan Sugar hit the nail on the head with me when he said, and he's not a trillionaire or nothing like that, but he said, if I spent all my money bringing players into this club and then left, he said, what thanks would I get? Well, he wouldn't, because us fans would want the next time to come in and do the same thing. I mean, like,
well, it's the same. It's the same all the time, Adrian. It's the same with the fans are very fickle. They want to pay 5 million more to get a player in yesterday, and they'll sell him for a deficit if he doesn't perform well in the first few games he's here. But I think we've kind of gone off the rails a little bit, guys, and I want to bring it back.
Drew, can I just interrupt? Do you mind? I put that up. Lewd by Levy, you're not somebody I know, so first time I've come across the channel. Subscribed and wishing you wishing you good luck with it. I just want to say thank you so much for that. We are a new channel, we're a year old, but we did win 2 big awards last weekend. One the best newcomer channel on Spurs,
and the most underrated channel as well,
and the most underrated channel. We really do try and have a bit of mature content.
We got 200 of you viewing us, so we must be doing something right on various platforms, because we're not big. We only got like over 1,000 members, K subscribers rather, not members.
We
So
try
must be
not.
doing something
There's
right.
plenty of vitriolic channels out there that people watch. We're just trying to have a mature, sensible debate with ourselves, and with people in the chat. And if people are making that kind of comment, Adrian, Andrew, we're doing something right. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Much appreciated. Much apprecited. Big, just a quick shout to Jacob Allraven in here as well, and Eugene. Thanks very much for popping in, boys. And then Daniel 90 says, "Because Adrian finally get his Leandro Damião this summer in Vlahovic." And then I just wanted to pick up on this. Yeah, this harmless potato. We'll touch on this quick, and then we'll give the channel a plug, Adrian. But Spud says, "I'd like to move on Bissouma, Richarlison, Hill, maybe another to create some wiggle room in the squad, maybe sign another player." The one that immediately comes to mind, unfortunately, is obviously doesn't come straight to mind. Solomon is the guy that everyone's been talking about as another one that potentially might leave. Do you think there's just real quick your thoughts on Solomon? Is Frank going to give him a chance, give him a look in pre-season, or do you think the writing's on the wall that he's likely to go along with Gil or Hill?
Depends on, I mean, like the three latecomers back were great because he was with a successful England side that won back-to-back European competitions, and then you had Tell and Odebert. So if these players are tired or whatever, then maybe Solomon. He had 20-odd contributions for Leeds last year. Got the last guy in the last game, which got them the championship title, didn't he? He said at Spurs, and I can understand. Yeah, I want to be with Spurs. I want to get a chance. No, of course, we got Champions League. What player wouldn't? What player wouldn't? But go on in if you want to cut in.
I do want to come in because I think Solomon is very much a Frank style player. I think he has good upper body strength. I think he has pace. I think he has power, and I think no wonder he wants to have a look at him. There's political ramifications, obviously, with Solomon being Israeli and Jewish, but at the end of the day, it's that's something I think the club just has to manage if it becomes a problem. My instinct is that Solomon should stay. I think at this stage of his career, I think he has significantly more to offer than Odebert. So I would hope that we would be keeping Solomon. Very much hope.
It's one of those things, isn't it? I just wonder where you're going to start putting all these wingers, because as my friend Sean says, we've got more wingers than Nando's, and it is kind of getting that way. Like, where do you, especially being as, I think since Solomon's come out, we've had another 3 come in, because obviously you got Tell, we've got Yang Min Hyuk, who's still out, who's coming back. You've got minutes that you want to try and you've got minutes that you want to try and give to Moore because you don't want him to regress. So there just seems to be a lot, and I know there's going to be 38, 46, 47, 40. You got 48 games minimum. You would hope that you would get more in the domestic cups. So let's say minimum 55, 56 maybe. So there's a decent chunk of games anyway right out the gate, but I just do wonder. He's gonna have to work some magic managing minutes if they don't get rid of any.
Unless fans watched him play for Shakhtar Donetsk when he kept Mudryk outside at times. I don't know if that's for injury or whatever. Who went to Chelsea and apparently cost an absolute fortune, but hasn't really tore up any trees.
Right.
And then he's gone to Fulham, and I didn't really watch him at Fulham, didn't really know nothing about him. Then he come to Spurs, and the only time we've seen him at Spurs, he came on, he had 2 cameos on the right-hand side for us, and he played about 15, 20 minutes each one, or what, might have been less. And then when he caught my eye, was when we played Burnley away and we won 5-2. And he 2 assists for Sonny in his hat-trick. And that caught my eye, because what I like about a winger, I don't want a head down, lightning fast winger who runs down the ring, just hoofs the ball over without no thought or whatever, And I thought, perhaps we've got something here. Perhaps we've got a deal. He's cost us nothing. So if we sell him on its pure profit, it's cost us nothing. And I wouldn't mind him give him a go in a pre-season. We don't know what Frank's going to do, right? Because look, if you look at it, he doesn't have to give Kudus a go because he knows what he's getting. When you know you've got a proven players, you don't need to try them out. It's the unproven ones you need to see if they've got something a bit special about them that you think, hang about, I wouldn't mind keeping him, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. And the only reason he was farmed out anyway, let's be fair about this, Udogie didn't have a proper pre-season because of his injury, and he had a crap season. I love the player, don't get me wrong, but he had a crap season, right? And then we've got Solomon coming back from an ACL. And I just think the club thought, look, we can't have all these players coming back from injury and trying to bang them in the side, so we'll loan him out, let someone else get him back up to fitness. And that's what I thought what happened. And like, if Leeds get him, they get him. I mean, but you know, give him a go. See if Frank gives him a go. I mean, we could say the same against Valise, who looks like he's going back to Argentina. You know what I mean? The same thing. Which, like, to me, he's never really been given a go. So why? This was Levy in the past. Why did we go and get the player in the first place? You know,
Right.
This is what infuriates you about this club. You know. So anyway, back to you, Drew.
Well, no, this is another one. Daniel says, and I know Ian was pointing out, he'd loan Odegaard to another Premier League team, but this is, again is the situation where you then disrupt the 3 consecutive years of homegrown club trained. So you're basically just delaying him becoming your player, really.
How much do you think?
But I can also understand the reasoning behind him. If you're gonna loan out Yang, why wouldn't you loan out Odegaard? So I get it completely. Destiny 5 coming in. Big up Destiny. Says Gibbs White is the done deal. That's what we like to hear. Is that actually confirmed, or is that just in your heart of hearts, Destiny? Adrian, real quick, if you want to, we've been going for an hour and 12 minutes and we got a couple of hundred people across multiple platforms. So if you wanted to just give a few mentions of the channel and what you got coming up.
Yeah, guys out there. I mean, like, it's great to have like over 200 of you viewing us on various platforms. I mean, I started a Spurs Diehards TTID Space Youth Army Facebook group when the stadium opened in 2019, and it's grown to like 14,500 members. So I started a Facebook page there where these videos go out. So if you use Facebook, if you don't, that's fair enough. You know, you can subscribe to those or go and join those. Also, we're also on Twitter. We've got the normal Twitter account, XCOM account now, as it's now XCOM, not Twitter, which has got over 3,200 followers on, and Spurs Diehards there. Today, actually, I started a Spurs community channel there. We're going really big. We've got 7 members already, which is which is good. And I should be doing a lot of posting there because it will double up. It'll post in the other part of XCOM as well. We have a WhatsApp group as well, Spurs Diehards TTID, which if you want to join is fine. We just need your phone number to join, and we use the WhatsApp group as a sync to get guests to come on our shows, which is equally as good. Yeah. But also at the same time now, I want to thank you on a Friday night. We don't know where you are. You're obviously in various time zones. You know, we got 200 of you watching us, and you know, we'd love more of you to come in the channel, the chat channel especially. You know, we've got regulars coming in, which is great. Regular friends of the show. We're building a lot of support, which is great. For those 200 of you that are watching us now, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a subscribe button. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Right, it just helps the algorithm, all right. If you click on any videos, you'll see the join button. If you want to join, we've got 3 types of membership. We only started that because we're a year old. We wanted to wait until we grew first before that. So that's great. And thanks for being here, guys, those of you on the various platforms. And a big thank you for those in the chat. Big thank you to those in the chat for your questions. And especially a big big thank you for those of you that actually watch us on playback, because I think that's fantastic as well. So, and I haven't thanked God and God's mum and dad, but I'll leave them. Drew, back to you, you know.
Guys, I just want to touch on this real quick. I know there's the argument you don't look to sell your best players. He's the top centre back, arguably the best one we've got. Let's. I just want your gut instinct on what you think will happen, not what you want, not the fact that we shouldn't, because I mean, from what we understand, Atleti have moved on. I don't know how serious Real Madrid are. I think that was just basically to try and blow a bit of smoke. Apparently, he's turned down potentially a second contract extension. Do you see this being something that is going to drag out to the end of the window and then ultimately he's going to go? Or do you think this might be something, being as we've done this kind of new pivot and we're getting stuff done? I can't imagine Frank's going to want him hanging around for 6 weeks if he's genuinely said he wants to go. But by the same token, I mean, I could see him being persuaded to sign a new deal. So what do you think's going to happen?
I wish I had the crystal ball. My gut tells me he's going to leave. My gut tells me he's going to leave. I think we would know certainly before the 13th of August, before we play PSG, whether he's committed to signing a new contract or not. And by that point, of course, we're only 2 weeks away, more or less, from the end of the window, and we'd want to get somebody else in. I think, although I don't think we're that short in that area, I still think we would want another experienced central defender in. Funny enough, there was a comment that just came up there. I would sell for Romero for Gallagher and cash. Except for I haven't seen any indication whatsoever that we are interested in Gallagher or that Atleti were interested in letting Gallagher go, because that is a move that makes a lot of sense, given I think that Ange wanted him. Chelsea obviously didn't do business with us, but that's a different.
Well, I think he was very much an Ange. I think he was very much an Ange conquest, and I think, to be honest with you, I feel like this Chelsea, I think more so than in years gone by, I think this Chelsea are probably more likely to do business. If you come to the table with Chelsea with the right amount, I think they'll do it. But he's Chelsea through and through. He's like a stick of rock. If you cut him, it says Chelsea.
When Adrian was talking, I had a look. I got my BBC gossip up to see if there was anything worth looking at. And the one thing is Chelsea have put, and this is where Chelsea are going to find trouble, that they put 100 million price tag on Nicholas Jackson. Now, with the best will in the world, Adrian laughed. I would have to be seriously pissed to even think about paying 100 million for Nicholas Jackson, let alone actually pay it. I mean, you'd have to be on something, something mind altering.
Fair play. Look, you need to head out, Ian.
We can speculate, but if you want me to give you an opinion, it is that Romero will end up leaving. But there is one thing. I think we will bring in another experienced central defender. But I really can't wait to see this boy Vuskovic, because everything about him suggests he's going to be an exceptional player.
Yeah, I really like him. I disagree with Ian on the Romero situation. I think a lot of this, if you take it into context, a lot of this about him wanting to go was before we actually won the Europa League. So that could have focused his mind. Also now, with him seeing that we've got a project where we're bringing in other ready players, that must have focused his mind even more. The fact that Atletico Madrid haven't got the money, let's be fair, he's a 70 million, and that's cheap in today's market. A few seasons.
Well, this is one of those things, Adrian. They say they don't have. They say they don't have the money, but apparently they've got 200 million they're waiting to spend. I think they've got the money. They're just trying to be cheap. I just don't think they want to spend what we're expecting. I would have taken Braithwaite Destiny, but he just signed a new contract with Everton. So I think that's...
If Van Dijk was 70 million, if Van Dijk was 70 million, Romero's won a World Cup, 2 Copa Americas and a Europa League. What's Romero worth?
Yeah, right.
What's he
Yeah.
worth? I mean, let's be fair about this. I mean,
No,
he
I
is.
get it.
I mean, they talk about 70 million. To me, he's an 85 million pound player,
Yeah.
right?
No, I get it. I get it, Adrian.
But like 85 million today's market, where the European market is still deflated, they've played on this. European clubs, they take the piss actually, because like they want to charge you the highest amount they can for their players, and they want to buy yours for a pittance, right? Not on. Keep him. Look, he's under 2 years. Good luck dealing with Daniel Levy, Ebenezer Levy, right? Because I'm telling you, right?
Well, somebody made they're not getting. Somebody made a really good point that probably, I mean, and I think he even if he doesn't sign a contract, I think he'd be professional enough to do another season. And there was an argument somebody made, a very good one last night, that you could probably, the money that they're offering this year, you could probably still get for him next year. So yeah, I think he's
or if he went,
I think he's going to stay.
You should get for him. You could give 60 mil for Guay or 55 mil. I don't know what his contract length is, because that's a big factor in pricing, right?
Yeah.
Give 56 mil, and if you sold Romero for you can't. I mean, Romero's quality. I know.
No, I get it. I didn't want. I was asking what you thought would happen. I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form he should be kicked out the door.
What
are you saying, Adrian?
Drew, is the issue with Romero not the fact of his ability, etc., is his attitude? Is that, you remember Gareth Bale with its, golf Wales or Wales golf and Madrid in that order. That I get the impression for Romero, it's, Argentina, family, Tottenham in that order. That when, you had to be, I think you had to be in the stadium in Bilbao just to see the way he was leading and cajoling. Sonny may have been the captain, but Romero was absolutely, in fact, Romero started as captain, didn't he? Sonny didn't start the game.
Yeah, because Sonny came on,
Sonny didn't start the game. But
Correct.
His leadership out there, the way he was cajoling everybody, and that really started, I think, in the second leg in Frankfurt, where he suddenly thought, you know what, we can win this competition, and I'm good enough to win it. I'm good enough. I know I'm good enough to lead this team to victory in that competition. And I probably get, funny enough, we're selling Bissouma, apparently. I probably had Bissouma as the man of the match, but Romero was absolutely exceptional. And he was exceptional for that last 5 games. I'm talking about the final or the 4 games.
Right.
Frankfurt away, the 2 semi-finals against Bodo Glimt, and then the final against Manchester United. Romero showed the quality of player he is. But the problem is, unless he wants to play like that every week, I would cash in.
The thing is, we also get in a situation where like people want to conflate like a player's injuries with his quality.
Sorry, Destiny. I think it was Udogi, but point absolutely. Your point's absolutely right. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, this is what always gets me. I mean, I get it when. Especially last season. I mean, everything that could go wrong. It was a perfect storm of everything that went wrong. And then typical Spurs, we end up winning the trophy, right? So fair play to Ange. But so I get all the critiques on players. We critiqued them and we critiqued them, we praised them. Like accordingly we did it, right? So which is what we will continue to do on here. But with Romero, I mean, like, you cannot turn around and say, oh, just because he's injury prone, he's not a quality footballer. That doesn't add up. The maths don't add up. He's a quality footballer. He might have, or Richarlison might have, if Frank was rumoured to like him, if we don't get another striker in, he might think he might smash it next season. I can't see it, but I mean, like,
big up, Graham. Good night, mate. Take care.
If he stays, I'm going to hope they all do well. Obviously, you're going to hope all the players do well on the road.
I'm going to take my cue from Graham because it's up as 12 here. The boys know I've been doing some radio
See you Sunday
today, and won a music quiz. So it's been a hell of a long day, and I have not stopped since about 9 o'clock this morning. I will almost certainly be doing a show.
All you need snow, and it'd be a perfect Christmas.
On say that again.
all it needs to do is snow in Spain, and it'll be a perfect Christmas.
Not at 33 degrees, it's not. I'll do a show. I'm definitely going to do a show on Sunday. I think there's still so much of this we're going to need to cover. So that will be 10 o'clock British Summer Time on Sunday night. I know a lot of you that are here and come and support me on when I host on a Sunday night, and obviously Adrian as well. So look, guys, thank you. And the comments, it's absolutely fantastic. The comments we're getting in there. It makes everything worthwhile to come and do this. So Adrian, I'll say goodnight to you. Drew, as ever, you host the show brilliantly on a Friday. So
take care, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thank you. And which one's the leave the studio button? I've lost it. But anyway, take care and thanks everybody.
Take care, lads. Bye. Beast of TA says, stop slagging Biss off. He just helped us to win the European trophy. Beast, I get it. We do our best to try and be as diplomatic as possible. I love Biss. When he's on his game, he's absolutely fantastic. Now, arguably unplayable. But when he's having an off one, he has an off one. You know, he's not one of those steady eddies. He's either a 9 or he's a 4. And we just, we have a tendency to call it like it is on this show. So Beast is not meaning to slag him off, just trying. There are days when I'm not on it, and I call myself out, so I got to call Biss out. I'm sorry, mate. Sumar said, I heard Romero's wife wants warmer, sunnier places. Don't we all? Except it's about 94 degrees and horrible and humid here, so maybe I don't. So sweating our third heat wave, and it's only mid-July, exactly. Maybe now he's back with his teammates, he'll stay. I mean,
Beast recently joined our WhatsApp group, right, with Jay and Connor, who's the accountant and things like that. Joined our WhatsApp group, and they joined Sean Butler's as well. Big up to Sean Butler as well. Awesome. He's fantastic. He's awesome. Yeah, but Beast, look, this is the problem. What happens with Spurs fans when we get emotionally attached to players, right? They can be poor, have a good game, and suddenly all is forgiven. Or a couple of good games and all is forgiven. But I've got to disagree with you, mate. I respect your opinion. You're entitled to your opinions. But, like, he's in the last year of his contract. What's he done in the last 4 years? What has he done? We had that 10 games at the beginning of Angie's range, which was superb, right? He's got it in him. I mean, to, like, smash a game, to take a game by the scruff of his neck, just not consistent enough. I'm not doubting his quality. The quality's in him. But, like, are we going to win a league with Basuma in our team? You know, don't get me wrong.
There's people in the chat like, you got to come diplomatic. You can't just be slagging the guy off. He did indeed help us win that cup, and he played. Even like the final, he did what he needed to do, and arguably came back and
season performances. He did. Yeah, he put in some good late. Look, we will critique players if they play badly or whatever. I mean, like, we've critiqued other players, and if some fans love a player so much that they won't have no critique of them, no matter whether when they
in a hype coming in with one for the under-21s. Leonard Carl from Bayern going into the last year of his deal. He's got some knowledge in a hype. He's always coming in with the names. Always coming in with the names.
I think the hype's a coach.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
I mean, I look at a lot of young players. I've got the young player link on one of my subs because I'm linked to about 40 Spurs groups and lots of other footballing groups of the young players and all that. And I get time to watch them because I'm retired, right? So, but, it doesn't make my decision making on right all the time because there's plenty of players I thought would smash it that failed. Right.
Well, I tell you what, we're going into the last. We'll go into the last half hour here. We'll go try and get 2 hours in. Based on the squad that we've got at the moment currently, let's assume that Romero's going to stay. You feel like we've got pretty decent options at centre back if that's the case, especially with the couple of new youngsters coming in.
We've got 9.
Right, exactly. Thoughts on the fullback option, being as Carl Walker-Peters looks like he's going out to Turkey. Anthony Robinson has been mentioned, but I'm getting to the point now where even I'm thinking if we're getting Morgan Gibbs White, Morgans, White's Gibbs, and we've already got Kudus, and we're looking at. I mean, if they get Wharton, now I'm starting to sit here and think to myself, well, hang on a minute, slow down a bit. What we doing here?
Well,
but what do you think? I know, right?
Treasure chest. So now we're getting ambitious. I mean, like,
right.
Forget Sirkin and Carl Walker-Peters. If we've got this treasure chest, I want Anthony Robinson from Fulham. If he's 40 mil, pay the money, get him in. This is the thing. What we don't know about the money, and we've had all these talks of rumoured investment have been simmering for a good season or so, right? And everyone's been smelling something's going on in the background, but nothing concrete. Well, we don't go out and go, bang, here's your release clause money on Morgan Gibbs White if we ain't got money. Now, we know that also that, would have earned money out of the Europa League win. We're going to get 80 or 90 mil minimum out of the Champions League, right? So there is that to take into consideration. Don't want to, burst people's balloons or bubbles here.
Mm-hmm.
But there was rumours that, ENIC were putting 120, 150 million in the club. That is less likely in my mind. But then the other room about a naming rights deal, a big naming rights deal by Saudis, or a big Saudi investment in the club, I can see that. I can see, after PSG winning the Champions League, I can see they're only going, well, there ain't really much more to do in France. Give up my stake. Let's move over to Tottenham in London, So I can see that. So we'll see. It looks like that there is something. Well, it just smells investment, doesn't it? We don't know.
It certainly does. Certainly does. Well, I'll tell you, Jimmy Hotspur, Kevin Stanbridge, and Destiny 5, by the looks of it, are all on board the Robinson train. Yeah. I did just want to point out again, Lude by Levy says, been supporting Spurs since the 70s, listened to some of the young lads channels, but I'm not up to date with the slang they use. Nice to listen to a channel where I understand every word. Thank you very much, Lude. Appreciate it. I'm in your boat as well. I do have to look up Urban Dictionary a couple. Let's have a look. There was something else that I wanted to point out here. Nita says, do you think the Romero wants to be at Spurs opinions for just to watch his body language if he has to work his backside off on the pitch? Yeah, I think he probably could have played more at the end of last season, and I'm thinking part of me, the basis for me being a bit frustrated with him is that he wasn't on the pitch more. But I think everybody that could play was being wrapped in cotton wool to make sure that cup was won. But you've got to think that he's going to be, if he's here and he stays and he's the first choice, he's going to at least do Monday, Wednesday for the most part in important games, right? He's not going to, we're not going to see him Premier League off, Champions League on, Premier League off. I mean, it's just not what you do with your first choice centre backs, do you? He's at least going to have the majority of the Premier League and the important Champions League games, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, he's got to be thinking to himself, hang about, we've won the Europa League, we're in the Champions League, we've got that. Atletico haven't really got the money, and we're bringing in Morgan Gibbs White and Kudus. I don't know who else is coming in. You get the press. I mean, a lot of the slimy press, the low media tier medias, that all they do is talk BS anyway. They just clickbait it. And they're going on, he won't sign a contract. I've heard all this talk, Drew, right? And I don't know what you guys are like out there, the 200 of you that are listening to us on various platforms, which is fantastic.
What have you heard, Adrian? Do tell.
To me, I always wait. I mean, the players have only just come back. All this talk of what players are doing, they've been on holiday.
Yep.
They've only just come back. Now you might get a bit of gravitas, a bit of solidity of specification of what their intentions are, because they're actually back at Hotspur Way. Then you might get a quote or something from them. But all this stuff before the players back, I was basically ignoring. I get it when fans say, oh, I'm only going to wait until they're holding a shirt. I get that as well. But obviously, we're a podcast. We want some sort of like clues, an inclination, an indication like of what's happening with regards to players who we're interested in. Prior to that, I mean, like, and look at this, guys, 200 of you. You're only listening now, right? I mean, like, when we start getting linked to left field players now, right? I mean, seriously, we haven't got our lists from the beginning all through the season. Now we're linked to Joe Blogs from here and like Billy Know Nothing from over there, like that. Like we are seriously now interested in these players. If they aren't players that we've been linked with before, I'm not really taking too much notice of it. That's not to say that if a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a PSG decided to offload a player, that would be an opportunistic signing. Then I'm there, yeah, fine. But other than that, like I'll wade through this BS. Most of it's BS, true, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think about Robinson? A good shout for left back, but what do you do with Spence? Well, you just duke it out with Porro for the right back position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spencer's played well on the left, so everybody says, "Oh, Spence on the left, Spence on the left," right? But look, he mullered Arsenal on the right in the cup game, wasn't it? I mean, he's technically very good. All right, we need to see a lot more of him because he's played well, and I was glad when he did get included in the Europa League squad in January when he got his spot in there, and he did okay. Then he had a little bit of a drop off, but look, no player plays well for the whole season, right? So I like the player. I think he's technically very good in tight situations on the touchline. Right, Romero, he won't boot the ball into a touch. He tries to hold it, get on the half turn, get half a yard of space and like progress the ball. Romero's the same as well. He won't boot it in a touch either. I like the player. I think he's got a very high ceiling. But it's like with them all, they've got to be consistent. So we'll see. In a night, there's no way you doggies going to Milan. I mean, let me get his contract length up for you, right?
I think he's still got 4 years to run, I think.
You'd have to scroll.
Danzo getting love in the chat. Daniel 90 says Danzo proper real one.
Yeah, I
sort of character you want playing for the club.
Yeah, one, because he was cheap, and two, because he showed the right attitude. Right, want to come to Spurs. I love it when he's been on a picture, seeing him looking around and go like, "Where's Porro?"
Yeah. And like, I think this is where Destiny 5 says, never knew he was British till you told me. I think that's in reference to Danzo as well. And that threw me for a second. I didn't realise until somebody had mentioned it when he came in, because he counts as the homegrown, which is fantastic. And yeah, he's just going to get better and better. I mean, when you think he was thrown in to a team, you know, arse end of a transfer window where we were a boat taking on water and it was everybody with a bucket just trying to get the water out. It was a horrible scenario, and he came in and did himself proud. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the likes of these, you know, your Danzos and that will do in a more oiled machine. So yeah, it's going to be great. Going to be great. What's this? Contracts? Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Oh yeah, he's got a contract till 2030. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, these are the contracts 2027. So when the players are down to 2 years, either sign one or we sell you. You don't want to run them down, right? I mean, then you got 28, Madison, Kulu, Pilaro, the college experience, yeah. So, yeah, it's if we keep Solomon and the others. We might sell the young players. 2029, it's Johnson, VDV, Odebert. I like the fact that it's a good spread. So if you have to fill a spot, you sort it out. You don't want all your players reaching an age of 30 at the same time, do you? Then you've got to replace a whole squad. You know, you want to be able to like keep drip feeding.
That's why we got 9 centre backs.
Yeah, at different levels. Yeah, exactly. And then like these will be the old boys in 2031. If we Kinski, Bergveld, Tell, Takai, Kudus, and Gibbs White, which he's coming. Look, he's coming.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with the likes of Alfie Devine? What do you think will happen? Do you think he'll go out alone again? can't see there being enough room. But then again, he doesn't take up a spot in the Premier League, so you think you might keep him around. But he just seems to be one of those players where you keep hearing the name, but he's never really broken through anywhere, is he?
This is the thing when you get emotionally attached with them, trying to go through and find the under 21.
I mean, I'll be happy. I mean, I'm very much of the one thing I will say about the likes of your Manchester Cities and your Chelseas, the one thing they do very well is generating money from the academy. And like you just sort of alluded to, getting a little bit too attached to players and things like that. I think that if you can take a couple of these kids and you can get 20, 30 mil for them, I say best of luck. Let them go. Let them move on, do their thing. You move on. There's always going to be a fresh batch of youngsters. You know, I mean, the amount that we're signing or have signed since Paratici adjusted the strategy and kind of the pay in the academy.
When Dean Rastrick went, said, like, you can't do this. If you want your best youngsters, you got to pay them money. Prior to that, it was like, oh, you can't give kids too much money. It was for them, right? But if you look at these under 21s, right, Kota Takai, we don't really know about him. Got all the good stats, very highly rated for Kawasaki. Was it Kawasaki Frontal or something as well? Archie Gray, I think he's going to be a superstar. He was taking a lot of flack in some other channels recently. Oh, even the WhatsApp groups, right? And that irked me a bit because I thought, hang on, you're talking about bringing an 18-year-old into the Premier League. Just let that sink in the pressure of the Premier League. He's had 28 games, right? He's played left back, right back, centre back. One game in centre midfield against Brighton, the last game of the season, which we threw away in the second half, which he did well. And you've got.
That's why I don't understand the hate for Tell, mate. It's the same.
Yeah.
You know, these teenagers, they don't get enough time.
Well, I'll come on to him, and then you're getting critique on him like, oh, he ain't good enough and all this. Hang about. He's 18, 19. Right. I mean, to do what he's done in the Premier League is phenomenal. And to try and then pick out games, apart from Liverpool when we got spanked, or other teams when we got spanked when the rest of the team were crap anyway, right. I just think it's a bit harsh. Bergvall is going to be a superstar as well as Gray. Odegaard, right. If the 200 of you watching don't know much about Odegaard, when Vincent Kompany was at Burnley when Odegaard was there, and Odegaard, they got him from the PSG Academy, right? And like Vincent Kompany is now manager of Bayern Munich, absolutely raved about him, right? He wouldn't be here if we didn't think, and what they've seen in training apparently is the most skillful player at the club, the next two being Maddison and Son, really. Tell again, okay, looking at Tell, you just praised him, which is fair enough. Jury's still out on me. He's shown a fantastic attitude out there on that football pitch to me, even when we're losing. He's got the right attitude. He doesn't get busted out there physically. He's got the physicality on the left to do well. And although I'm undecided on him, what I have to say is, if you're signing this player and paying the extra 29, 30 mil for him, he must be doing something in training that makes the team want. We don't see it. We don't see what's behind closed doors. He must be doing something in training that they love to sign him up, right? And buy him probably. Scarlett watched him as a 17-year-old. He's going to have a career at Spurs. Don't think so. Good finisher as well. Another good. Scored against Elfsberg, didn't he? Right? Yeah. Yang Min Hook. I watched videos of him. He's fast. He's tricky. Takes players on. He's fast. Don't know. Vuskovic, I like him. I really like him. I've never seen a better centre-back at such a young age, ever, right? Ashley Phillips, good. Tank, another like Vuskovic, Phillips, they're like 6'4", 6'5", or whatever, and they're kids, they might have grown up a couple of inches. Right. Alfie Devine, technically superb, right? Again, midfielder. Donnelly, Wayne Burnett brought him into the Spurs team from Northern Ireland. He was brought in as a striker, converted him into a number 10. Go and watch the goals he scored at Orient against Man City in the Cup. The goal from the halfway line. This kid's got great vision, a good number 10, a defence splitting forward pass on him. You know, Alfie Dorrington, very good on the ball on the left side of the defence. Won a cup medal against Celtic in Scotland, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, with Aberdeen.
Will Lancashire in the under-21s when I watched him, when he was with Donnelly and others and co, right? He got, what was it, 23 league goals in 20 games or whatever it was, and he over 30 with the cup games. He was given a go, wasn't he, against Galatasaray away. He scored a goal and got sent off, didn't he? Right? Yeah. Didn't blotted his copybook. He just got.
I think it was the man. Do you know what? I think it was the manner in which he got sent off, because I think he'd forgotten that he got a yellow card. He was all just sort of caught up in the moment, and he really sort of lost his head for a second. And I don't know. I feel like there seemed to be a little bit of a sense that Ange thought maybe he'd let him down, because you didn't really see him much after that. I thought it was a little bit unfair on the kid. But
there are lots of kids out here that aren't mentioned. Tyrus Hall, ball playing like ball carrying midfielder like Gascoigne. You've seen.
We do. I tell you what, we don't have. We don't have many kids. We don't have many kids in their fullback positions, do we?
No,
we seem to have decent wingers, decent centre backs.
You've got Dante Casanova. I can't. We're having like right-sided midfielders and left-sided midfielders playing at fullback, basically, because we didn't have them really.
And one thing I wanted to pick up on here, Beast of TH says Dragusin hasn't been mentioned. Do we think he's still got a first-team chance? What do you think about Dragusin?
I do.
I know he was on his feet. He was on his feet the other day. He was walking around, wasn't he?
Right. He didn't have. He had a decent Euros. Made one mistake, won one goal that was there. Got caught out on the byline. Fun enough when the ball got passed past him. Right. Good in the air. Got good pace. He would suit the Frank system actually. Then he blotted his copybook in Europe. His positional play was suspect. He got caught out of position. He got sent off. Right. Another one he got sent off. Wasn't good. And then but to be fair, with some of these players, we haven't seen a big enough sample to be fair to them. To do a fair critique on players, you need to see them play, a good dozen games or so. And we haven't seen it. And I think actually Dragusin is better in the air than some of our other defenders, to be honest with you. Right? I think he looks okay and he's quick. And we'll see how Frank sets up. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Have you seen anything about seen much about Takai that's coming in, the Japanese kid? Because I've heard some very good things about him, but obviously it's very, very early doors.
I went and watched him play for Frontale Kawasaki or Kawasaki Frontale or whatever it was. The players there gave him a send off. They gave him a send off there. They made like an arch for him, and all that. Maybe they're proud to have a player go abroad, he's quick, right? He's got good positional play and all that. But, we'll see. I mean, if he's good enough, if he's not good enough, the Premier League will find him out quite quickly. But he looks okay. You can't say. I mean, obviously, he's one they've brought in on the stats, right? He's brought in on the data analysis. He's been brought in on that. And, I'm not against that. I mean, Brentford haven't done bad doing that. I mean, no one knew about Vissa. No one knew about Buemo, did they? Norgard. Damsgaard we knew a bit about, and we see him because he scored against England for Denmark in the Euros or the World Cup, whatever it was. I forget now. So we see all that. But so they haven't done bad. I mean, look about Brighton with the players they brought in that no one's known about. Yeah.
Well, also, Inner Hype mentions it, and I was going to bring it up. Kawasaki are the best team in Japan for developing players. Mitoma and a couple of other players have come from there. Who was Shin Kagawa? Shinji Kagawa, I think, was from there. Looking forward to seeing
Asia in that area. They seem to have energy. They seem to run for fun. Remember Park Ji-sung at Man United? And others. I mean, like, and the Premier League have all been about, ugh. And then you got Kim Min Jae. Where did he go? Is it Bayern?
Yeah, Bayern. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
And
he's Korean, isn't he? Not Japanese, but
yeah. Korean, yeah.
And didn't fancy Dragosin, says Jimmy Hotspur. B says, how many trophies we win in the coming season, starting with the Super Cup? I reckon we're winning the Super Cup. I reckon we're winning. We're winning it. You heard it here first, boys and girls. You can clip this up. We are winning it.
We're winning that. And for the 200 of you viewing us now, we're winning a quintuple, right? We're winning all 5, right?
Quintuple. 5 of them, boys and girls. 5 of the things.
No, actually, like, you know.
We better get the Swedish mafia down to IKEA, get some more cabinets.
Yeah. Being realistic. I mean, like, Premier League and Champions League. Well, we got a slim chance and no chance, and Slim's just left town, right?
Right.
But I mean, we've got every chance of. I mean, like, depends on the draw with the domestic trophy. It's only 6 games to win the FA Cup, 7 to win the League Cup because you've got semi-final 2 legs, right?
Yeah.
Every chance. I mean, look at the teams we faced last season going through the cups. We played Man United, Man City, Liverpool. I mean, like, we couldn't have had harder draws. I mean, we could have met easier teams early on the rounds and then met the harder teams later, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think we've got every chance of winning. I mean, if you ask me now, I don't know what other players we're getting in, but my confidence is up. So I'm thinking, where do you think we're going to finish in the chat in the league, guys? In the chat, come on, where are we finishing? I think we can get 5th. I think we can win a domestic trophy. Right? What do you think, the chat? Come on, give us your answers in the chat.
You genuinely are. Right, let's talk this through for a second. Who's winning it? Who's winning it? Liverpool? It's got to be Liverpool, isn't it? They're doing it again.
I mean, he's fantastic, isn't he? I mean, like, this guy's at. I mean, like, Florian Wirtz.
So Liverpool first. Who's second? Man City second.
I don't know. I think second's up for grabs. I think Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. Cockerel,
you washed your mouth out with soap, young man. What you want about 20th and out early in every cup? I'm coming. I'm coming for you. Don't you dare. Don't you do it.
If you keep misbehaving, we'll send you a link.
Man City for the title, he says. I tell you what, here we go. I'm gonna say, I reckon Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, them lot up the road, Newcastle, Spurs. I think we come 6th. Beast on my level. Beast on my level.
As much as I hate Arsenal, right?
So it's Nita. Nita's on my level as well. Nita and Beast. Big up.
If you look at Arsenal over the last couple of seasons, they're a more cohesive unit than Chelsea are. Chelsea have bought loads of players, but they're more cohesive. Even City are a little bit disjointed. You know, I could see Arsenal getting second again, City getting third. Maybe City will get second, Arsenal get third. Can we make a pact? Can we make a pact?
We're not allowed to say that lot. We're not allowed to say the A word. You got to say that lot up the road. I make a very, very good point. I don't even say that. I don't even want.
Woolwich Wanderers.
Don't even want to mention that.
The Woolwich Wanderers.
The Woolwich, yeah, there you go. The Southeast London dirtbags.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. I would take.
I can see us getting 5th with Newcastle, Villa. You know, us changing it in there now. I'm more confident now.
I guess it's really somebody make a very valid point. Who is it? It says, we are Spurs TV. Big up. It says, I'll give you my finished prediction the day before the start of the season. Don't want to give it until we get all of our players in. Even the transfer window is still 2 weeks into the season, isn't it? I made the mistake of thinking that they'd actually come to their senses and finished it, but they haven't. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
So, okay, we get Gibbs
FA Cup. I'll take an FA Cup.
We get Gibbs White, we get Kudus. So in the chat as well, Now we're all feeling a bit more confident and we're getting greedy, right? We think like, who let the dosh out? Who let the dosh out, right? How many more players do you think we're getting in? In the chat, how many? I'll go first. I think we'll get 3.
I was going to say
3
3
more.
as well. How many are leaving though? How many are leaving? 5 out, 3 in.
I think Basuma goes.
Oh, it's here.
Balance on the foreign players. I think Basuma goes. I don't know about Richie. I don't want Basuma and Richie, but
Just think Richie goes and Visser comes in. What do we think about that chat? Richie out, Visser in.
I like that. I like that.
We Are Spurs says if we get Morgan Gibbs White, I say 1 or 2 more starting players, 2 or 3 more punts.
Well, I suppose it means younger players, like 1 or 2 more oven readies, and yeah, I think we'll get 2 more oven readies in,
No.
and whether we get another kid under Langer, I don't know. I don't know, but I think we're going to get another 3. I think we may get a left back in. We may get a DM in, and we're getting Gibbs White. And
Is there rumours about Polini, or is that just? Is there
Yeah.
rumours about Polini, or are people just saying that because he's
Well, no.
not
Apparently, Douglas Luiz would love to come to Spurs. That is a very strong rumor, right?
Mm.
It's a question of like, would you prefer him, Polini, or Rios, or Friendrop, or Hoymond, or Walton, You know, I mean, I'd quite like Walton actually, but I mean, because I'd
What do
rather
we
go.
think about? I tell you what. Let me ask you. What do we think about Bentancur? Because he's had a contract on the table for a minute and it hasn't been signed. What's going on with that?
I would give him
Do
a
we know?
contract. I've always liked the player. I mean, I remember before he was asked to play a bit more defensively. He was like, before he had the ACL, he was dragging us up the pitch in games, dragging us up the pitch. I like him. I like his attitude. I want him to stay. It's a squad game, you know. You're not like picking players. Oh, he's a starter. We should have a squad of 18, not 25. You're never going to have a great squad of 25.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I think the one great thing about Manchester City and the likes of Liverpool now is that they've got a very, very strong sort of, not just 11, is it? It's like 15, 16. And they all know that they're going to be in cups or at least in for a shout for some silverware. So you can appease people with, slightly less minutes for the fact that you got more chance of picking something up at the end of the season, or at least being in more things for longer, right? They do a really nice job of balancing the minutes over really important players and also bringing the youngsters through.
Yeah, you can't knock them because they've won the league. If I was critiquing them, they're sort of carrying players as well. Nunes, I don't rate. He misses a lot of chances, but in games he might pop up and get you some goals. Diaz as well, the winger. He scored them couple of early goals away at Man United. I thought, right, are you going to really set the world alight here? I like players that get me off my seat.
Yeah. No,
I think the midfield. I think the Newcastle midfield fucking excellent. The Liverpool. I mean, you can't knock a team when they've won the league, can you? But you can also ask questions about for the future about like, is your strike force what you've got there? Is it really the bee's knees? Look, they've got a lot of. I mean, their squad's excellent, but I suppose it's like any fan. I mean, if we won the league tomorrow, people would be saying like, "Yeah, we won the league, but we could still do with a better left back or a right-sided winger." You're still going to get that. You're never going to satisfy the fans, are you?
Yeah.
So I can question Liverpool in certain positions or certain players, but they'll still be my favourites to win it next year, next season. Still my favourites to win it, right? So Yeah.
Who's the kid? Chat. I'm losing my marbles. My brain's not working today. Who
Go on,
is
fair enough.
the kid at Ipswich? Young English player, Amari Hutchins. Is he? He's English, isn't he?
You've lost me with him straight away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm
I'm just not familiar with that player. Got to be honest.
I'm pretty sure. I thought he was getting some really good reviews last year. I'd take him. I'm sure he's homegrown. Is it Amari Hutchins, Daniel Hutchinson? Amari Hutchinson. I would take him. I heard good things about him, and he's home.
Seems
Sure
like
he's
who's
homegrown.
done it
Losing my
before,
mind.
but apparently Douglas Luiz would love to come back and play with Spurs, basically.
Hey, here we go. I was right. I'm not losing my mind. Amari
Yeah,
Hutchinson.
fair enough, Beast.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well done, mate. Yeah. So,
what were you saying? What were you saying there?
Douglas Luiz.
Douglas Luiz.
Was
I
it
mean, he's
Villa?
solid, isn't he? Solid. Is he a 6 though, or is he an 8?
Well, I mean, I don't like.
I know you don't like these numbers, do you? I know you don't like the numbers, but for the audience, for the ladies and gentlemen,
I'm going for a beast in midfield. I've rattled on about it, much to the annoyance of
Fratesi. He's going to say Fratesi, everybody.
Yeah, I just think this guy's an animal, right?
Yeah,
and I'd have him. He's like Højbjerg on steroids, as far as I'm concerned.
Right?
Could we get him out of Milan?
He's not. He can't literally be on steroids. We'll get a ban, and then we'll be down a player. Isn't it? But I know what you mean.
Yeah. So,
I was really into Evan Nielsen from Atalanta, but apparently he said categorically no way, not a chance. Tottenham.
What about Edison?
That's the one. Sorry. Yeah, I think no. Am I getting me Edison's and me Evan Nielsen's mixed up?
Evan Gessold is a striker from Nice.
Yeah, I'm getting them all mixed up now, mate.
Yeah, it's okay. It's Friday night. It's
Friday night. He stopped drinking. He's getting them all over the place. I'd probably start again.
I would take Edison. I would take Fratesi.
Edison from Atalanta, AB coming through. Solid knowledge. There we go.
Paulina, is he 30 now? How old's Paulina? Someone bring up in the chat. How old's Paulina? He's got to be 30 now, isn't he? Don't think he would quite fit the profile for us. I'd want someone, who's going to be with us for like 5 years, because that's the normal contract.
It's got to be Wharton. We've got to take Wharton.
I'll tell you who's got similar stats, right? Who's younger, at the same age as Wharton, who's got stats that are slightly better than him.
Hayden Hackney. Oh, he's going to say Hayden Hackney, everybody. This should be a quiz show. Is he a good lad? I've not actually seen very much of him, Adrian. Is he?
I haven't watched too much. I've looked at the stats, right? I haven't got a video up because unless it gains gravitas, I'm not going now. Right. But they're talking like 15 to 25 mil. Hang on. Well, he's worth a look. Now, maybe not for Frank. He might look. It's very important that you set up well defensively, isn't it? So really, you want experience there, don't you? Let's be fair. You want experience there. So I want, and as Frank tends to play two narrow pivots in midfield, you want to be at a base, and if they can give you a bit extra, that's different. Well, young Bergvall, 6'2", he's no slouch. He doesn't lack physicality. I mean, Gray's 6'2" as well, fun enough. So he doesn't either. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm confident that whoever we bring in now is going to be quality. Anyway, I'm confident of that. Right. So
about this fella that we keep on hearing about, Mr. Rios, Colombian international.
Yeah, Colombian, done well out there. Plays for Palmeiras.
Yep.
The only danger with that is how many times have players been bought because they've done well in a competition, then have gone to their club and couldn't maintain a consistency, and then they've flopped.
But it's not just been the competition. It's not just been the Club World Cup, though, has it? I mean, I think he's been lighting it up in Brazil.
But I think Gibbs White gives us that. I think Gibbs White gives us what Rios does, and more. So, yeah.
AB says he likes Hackney, thinks he's more of a box to box than a holding six.
Yeah, well, we're all playing
and also
football
Rios
manager.
is great.
And when we get
Polinia.
Kudus and Gibbs White in,
Yeah, it's a very valid point. Very valid point.
when we get a Gibbs White in with Kudus, we're all playing football manager. People, oh yeah, but he's lovely, won't get in. But you're forgetting, like you said earlier, 38 league games, 2 minimum domestic cups, 40, eight European Champions League games is 48 minimum. I'm pretty sure we're going to be playing more than that. So you need a squad. It's not a question of like who you think your starting 11 is or who I think my starting 11 would be for just a one-off game or a cup final.
Right.
It's about like getting us. And the thing is, like, funny thing is, like, when you've often gone on about like bringing players that got the European experience in, but we've now got 2 players in that haven't really got European experience in Kudus and Morgan Gibbs White. But we're confident they'll do well. I'm very confident they'll do well.
Well, no, Kudus has played Champions League, played the Champions League for Ajax. So at least he's got a little bit. I think it might only be 8 or 9 games, but I think yeah. There we go. Look, Daniel 90 says, Drew, I've watched a lot of him for Colombia. Dribbling abilities, central midfielder, one of the best around. As a leader as well at 25, take his game further. Yeah, I heard some really. They were what's the phrase? Waxing lyrical about him for the Club World Cup. Yeah. And I don't mind a Colombian. They've got a little bit of bite to them. I think. We've had a couple in the Premier League, and I've always enjoyed watching them. I tell you, there's somebody we've not mentioned, Sarboy, as well, and he's a little bit more box to box. He's always very much reminded me of a young Vieira, but I think that's just because of the sort of the lanky build, and Vieira was a little bit slender when he was younger, and they kind of have that language because it's a long bounding steps. But yeah, I really like Sar. I know people sort of talk about him.
Vieira. He's definitely quicker than Vieira. And also, that Europa League final, he was in our half. Good. He won the ball. He progressed further down the field.
Yeah.
Exchanged passes, went out to the left wing, crossed the ball for Brennan Johnson to score. If you want to give Johnson a goal or not, I'm giving it to him.
Oh, what are we doing? Beast.
Oh, no, you're joking. Beast, come on, behave.
Hang on. Well, no, because that infers that better than Carlton Palmer, but the fact that is equal to, or that, come on, man, no.
And look what Star does. The old joke is like the world covered with 71% of water, fresh water as well, but Star covers the rest. His energy, and his goals, right? He turns up in big games. He scored against.
He can pop it. He can hit a pass as well, can't he? When he wants to. I've seen him hit a pass.
And he's got a shot outside the box. Before he comes to this club, I see him taking penalties. What's it for? Senegal? What's he playing for?
Yeah, shout out to Carlton Palmer. Big shout out, Carlton.
Who does guy in the chat? Who does Saab play for international level? Is it Senegal?
Senegalese, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're making me question so much of my knowledge tonight. I can't.
I know you're not.
I might have had too much to smoke, boys and girls.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's Friday night for us, and it's early for you, but you're on your day off, so who gives a shit, right? You're entitled to relax. It's hard to find a Spurs fan that relaxes.
Yeah, here you go, Senegalese. Right. Well, this is the thing. Maybe it's it because it's been party mode because we've because other people are spending lots of money just to please us. Love it.
The thing is, when we start going about, but he won't suit this and suit this and so. Listen, when Frank has to change his side for the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the setting up to rest players and all that, we're going to have to utilise a squad. And bringing in Gibbs White and Kudus is excellent, but they're not going to play 48 games. right? The only one who's superhuman that did that last year was actually Porro, who I have highly criticised, right? And the next player to that who's played the most games was Decky, who was running through Triku because he was just completely gassed out. Porro's like, one thing about Porro, he's fucking superhuman. He don't even get injured, right? Now, don't want to put the mockers on him. Don't want to put the mockers on him, fingers crossed, right? Because he loves the club, right? And, yeah, I mean, like, it's looking interesting. Kudus on the left. Solanke or Vista in the middle. Tell, obviously, you don't pay that
You are
money.
correct.
He's
Valderrama was Colombian, correct. He had wicked hair as well.
Oh,
wicked hair.
He was fantastic, though.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Fantastic.
Good
You
player.
just see him
look at this, bringing out an Asprilla as well. He was a lot.
Oh yeah, Asprilla at Newcastle. Yeah, I mean, like he was excellent.
He was Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. He was.
Yeah, pity they shot Escobar. Remember the fullback?
Right, yeah, I do remember that. We're going there, ladies and gentlemen. We are going there.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right, I tell you what, Adrian, it's coming up to 6:15 here. I've got some stuff I got to do. I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It's been a great show. We had a little chat about the new signings coming in, and then we've just kind of been waxing lyrical about the squad and the youngsters, and I think in general is some positive outlook for the season coming up, positive outlook for the pre-season, looking forward to the games. They're going to start coming quick and fast. What do you see the next week or so? What do you see happening? You expect one more in and then them start to get a couple out, or you think it's just opportunistic Tottenham? They'll just start they'll just take whatever they can get.
I expect both. I think like Gibbs White will be done next week, definite. I expect another signing.
Big up, Rodney.
I expect like Basuma to go. Look, they'll be told basically if Frank doesn't fancy Richarlison, well, it'll be like, look, you're not going to get game time under me. I'm not going to add you to the Champions League squad. You've got the World Cup coming up in 2026. So you guys, like, you're not what I'm looking for. I'm sorry to let you go, but find another club. So that'll be it. I mean, yeah. So on that, I mean, like, we got 200 of you viewing us, which is fantastic. Right?
Yeah, it's great. We really appreciate it on a Friday night.
Out Sunday, which Ian will host at 10 o'clock. The show that I host goes out on a Tuesday, and like obviously that Drew hosts the show on a Friday at 10 o'clock as well. So it'll be the same throughout the season. So if you like the content, the 185 of you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel because it helps the algorithm. There are memberships there as well. If you choose to take out a membership, it's down to you, right? Like I say, we've got a Facebook group with 14,500 members, which has started in 2019. We've got a Facebook page. We've got an XCOM group of 3,200. We've also got XCOM community, which is I started today, so it's only got 7 members at the moment. But you just got to click on the link to join it. We've got a WhatsApp group, as well. Well, if you join the WhatsApp group or give us your phone number, we can use it as a sync to get you to come on the shows. With that, I want to thank all of you viewing us, the 200 of you viewing us now on different platforms. Thank all of you in the chat for your comments and your questions, right? Thank everyone who will be watching us later on playback as well, because it's really fantastic. You're really helping us grow. And we pride ourselves on being a discerning, mature and sensible Spurs, podcast group. And with that, back to you, Drew.
Yeah, awesome, Adrian. Really appreciate it, mate. We'll see you again next week. Big shout to everybody in the chat. Just to echo Adrian's words, it's a pleasure to have you all here. Even just talking amongst yourselves in the chat, putting questions to us, just keeping the conversation moving along. I want to say a special thank you to Blaine, who gifted the 5 Diehards memberships again earlier on today. He is a scholar and a gentleman, and one of the most gifting people in the community. He's always trying to build everybody's channel on their behalf. So it's absolutely amazing. Really appreciate it. Big shout to everybody who joined us, all the regular Motley crew, the new guys. There's too many of you to mention, honestly, but you all know who you are. It's been a pleasure, as always. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, come on, you Spurs.
Tonight